Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of What the Buddy and Crease. We're your hosts. I'm Buddy.
And I am Crease. I'm in a good mood. I'm back.
Good. All right, we're back to normal.
Oh, but you know what we have to do, though?
What's that?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Season 2.
Season 2!
Oh, we got some great stuff for you tonight.
That's right.
Why did I say tonight?
Well, because it's kind of dark in here, which is kind of
true.
weird, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah, but it also lets everybody kind of guess. Ooh, they're filming at night. Or are we? Maybe it's morning. Maybe we just had breakfast. Maybe we didn't. Maybe it's
we're enigmatic.
Happy hour.
Yes, happy hour.
I ain't that lucky. It's not happy hour.
Yeah, it's not happy hour.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, it's happy hour somewhere, but it's not happy hour here.
I know. Well, it's happy hour somewhere in the world, but guess what?
Right.
I'm not there. I'm here.
That's right.
So,
we're here.
Good.
So, how was your week?
My week is good.
Good.
You know,
busy?
Dude, it's so freaking busy.
Right. Gotcha.
You know, with everything going on, it's so busy. It's nonstop all the time. So.
Plus the election week, everybody stayed up. I think some people are still awake from that. Like they haven't slept.
You know what? I have turned the channel on that.
Yeah.
I turned that channel and all that.
We've turned that TV off.
So, but I gotta ask you right now.
Okay,
do
what's
you feel
that?
like we're being watched right now?
Do you feel like I'm being watched? Kinda. It's kind of
I
creepy.
really do.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know,
we're gonna have to
I
figure that
encountered
out.
some paparazzi as I was walking into the house.
Well, I know, but the dogs don't count.
Yeah, but the dogs don't count.
But I feel like in the room with us right
there's
now that there's
room.
somebody or something just sitting here watching. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you never know with us. It just, you know, with what we talk about,
we bring the shadow people and all. Let's see, Halloween's over now too, but they should.
But that doesn't mean anything,
yeah,
dude.
It's true. Yeah.
It's still popping.
It's still popping. Yeah.
But see, I'm really interested in about this disappearance that took place up at Zion National Park.
Yeah, Zion National Park. Yeah, it's actually it began in October, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't write that part down. But anyway, so it's been recently, within the last few months, within the last quarter.
Gotcha.
There was a disappearance of a young lady. Young lady. We'll call her because she's younger than we are. I think she was 36.
Yeah, she is younger than us, so we got to kind of...
She can be a young lady.
We'll call her a young lady, even though she's no spring chicken.
Right. Holly S. Courtier disappeared inside of Zion National Park.
Enlighten us as to what happened with Miss Holly.
Yeah. So she basically what happened is she spent 12 days on the missing person list, but was found alive.
That's good.
18 pounds lighter, approximately 18 pounds lighter than when she went missing.
Oh, tell me.
Yeah.
You know I got to ask this. Tell me.
So I might be getting on that diet.
She was hanging out with Bigfoot for 12 days.
Oh, yeah. She was out there with Bigfoot, and there was a UFO, and they were having a retro 70s disco party. And I don't know.
And I wasn't invited? What the heck? There's some good music.
There was no video. She didn't take her cell phone with her. You know, she didn't have a cell phone with her or nothing.
Ooh, that's mysterious.
No communication. Really, exactly.
For a 36-year-old
not having a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
How did she keep her Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat up to date?
Well, she wanted to go off the grid. You know, like she wanted to go excommunicado. You know, no.
Well, I can appreciate
nothing from the outside.
That.
Sure, everybody wants to do that,
that
once in a while. You know, they want to throw away their cell phone or at least put it in a garbage can
I throw
for
mine
a week.
Probably once an hour and then go pick it up because I know I need it again.
Good case because these things can get expensive when you're throwing them around.
I ain't gonna lie, throw it on a pillow.
Okay, yeah, or drop it, like. You know, madly drop it from a foot, onto a pillow.
So, you know, we're joking around, but
this is not a joking matter.
How's the situation with Holly? Because 12 days disappearing and showing back up. What the heck happened?
Basically, the gist of the story was she lost her job due to the COVID virus, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to.
I've been there. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Crease lost his job because of the COVID virus too. So she had, after she lost her job, she apparently packed up the things that she held most dear in her life into a van that she converted into kind of like a little stealth camper. I use the phrase stealth camper.
So she's trying to do some overlanding.
Yeah, it's a little bit of overlanding.
Nice,
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the picture that I saw, it didn't specify in any of the articles that I read. I believe it appeared to me as if it was like a Volkswagen bus, like like a late 70s.
Was she from
80s.
California?
I believe she was.
Well,
yeah.
then that makes sense because that's all they drive over there.
That's all they drive over there.
70s
Especially
Volkswagen
Fluffy.
buses, yeah.
Yeah, Fluffy's got a big collection.
Oh, Fluffy does.
He's got a ton of those things, yeah.
Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian, Fluffy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she planned on it was going to be a family it was going to be a family meeting in Zion, and they were going to spend some time there in the park,
Like family reunion.
exploring. Yeah, but she won't.
Kind of, sort of family get together.
Family get together.
Okay,
I didn't
cool,
really
cool.
get the feeling of a family reunion of sorts.
Just
but
some
it was
family members
definitely,
getting ready to meet up in
definitely her
National Park.
sister
Okay.
was going to be there. I'm sure the sister's husband was going to be there. I believe her daughter was
Gotcha.
slated to be
Okay.
there as well. But she got there a few days before everybody because she wanted to go on a spiritual journey. So
I get it. I'm there.
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
there daily. I get
Yeah,
it.
This is something Crease is on, and I've been on for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And you're never off. Just so you know, if you start one, you're never going to be done with it.
Come on now. They all know we're a little off.
Yeah,
but,
we're a
but
little
not.
off
We don't
anyways.
end our spiritual
Right.
journey. We continue it.
Yes, that's why she didn't take her cell phone with her.
Gotcha.
She wanted to
Okay.
be disconnected from the outside influences and all that.
Okay.
So and she decided that she was and then later on was decided for her that she was going to fast during this time to kind of cleanse her body,
Ooh,
and then all kinds. Go ahead.
Okay,
what's up?
I get fasting and
Yeah,
cleansing
sure.
and all of that. Not when you're going hiking. You
Right.
need the
Yeah.
energy.
It was that's one of the problems that investigators are having with this that we'll talk about a little bit.
Oh, I jumped the gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We're laying the foundation.
Hold on. Let me zip it up while you go through the story.
We're laying the foundation. So yeah. Okay. So she was going on this spiritual journey without her cell phone and without food for a couple of days before the family got there. So she went up there. She did her thing. She got she went on her spiritual journey, and when she was scheduled to meet up with the family,
Okay.
she didn't show up.
Okay, and from the time she got there, from the time she was supposed to meet with them, how long was
It
it?
was a few days.
So,
that was
48
what
hours?
was probably closer to 72.
Okay,
I'm thinking.
okay. So she was planning on being there roughly 2 to 3 days
Yeah,
prior,
right. She
hanging
was
out,
there,
doing her own
yeah,
personal thing until the
exactly.
family shows up because she
Communing
she
with
wants
nature
some
and all
quiet.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. I get that.
And the park, Zion National Park, from some other accounts from some other people that I also read, a forum post is well traveled, well populated.
Oh, Zion National Park.
National,
oh
yeah. Right, yeah.
It's like rush hour.
So it wasn't like she just took off into the wilds of Montana, with an Nalgene full of water
True,
and
true.
a,
Although,
and
I gotta
a
say,
Nature Valley granola bar.
that would be fun though.
It would be fun for us.
For us.
I
yeah.
got some fat I could burn off.
No, I just want to get away from
fast
people.
For
For me,
sure,
that'd be fun. Just be out in the
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Sure. I mean, that's probably where the dude lives, or the dudette,
One
or
of
whatever,
many areas,
or
yeah.
whatever
So,
its
okay.
preference.
But seriously, this lady,
Yeah.
I can already tell this lady. No wonder she kind of went missing here because I'm a little concerned with her fasting, not taking enough water, not taking enough food.
Correct. Yeah.
Going
and that's-
alone and
yeah.
not giving more specific details about
Right.
when she was leaving, when she was coming
Right.
back.
And that's where
So
the
I'm a little concerned right
investigators
there.
are seeing discrepancies in her story. Is that if you were going because there's other reports too from her daughter specifically that this isn't her first trip into the wilds.
And I take it her daughter's an adult then.
Yeah, it sounded like it. I don't think they ever specified the daughter, but yeah, it's not like a 6-year-old girl. They're not taking a 6-year-old girl's word for it or something.
Well, yeah, because if a child is, and I say child because technically that's her child,
right,
is giving that type of information to the authorities that, hey, something didn't seem right here.
Yeah.
That's pretty mature and up on.
Yeah,
so that's
sure.
I'm only
The daughter,
guessing.
the daughter wasn't with the mom.
But she was well aware.
But she was aware of her
time.
mother's abilities.
Okay.
And that'll come into play in just a little bit more with some water issues too.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, so she took off into the national park, and she's out there. Nobody knows. She doesn't even know. She bumped her head. Got a pretty bad bump on her head. Trying to install, for lack of better terms, set up her hammock in some trees. Yeah.
Okay. So she knows how she bumped her head then.
She knows how she bumps her head, but she knows nothing after she bumped her head until she's found 12 days later.
Then how did she know to survive?
Right. Well, that's part of the problem too. That's what makes this story a unique story.
Okay.
And why What the Buddy Increase is covering a story of a missing hiker is there's something's not right. There's indiscrepancies in her story.
Yeah.
And
you've only given us partial of the story here, not the whole details yet.
Right.
And I already have a bunch of red flags that have popped up in my head.
Well, and your red flags are probably the same red flags that I have.
More than likely,
because there are discrepancies in the accounts of what happened. So,
all right. Well,
so
give us the rest of the account.
What she knows for sure, from her own words, is that she got to the park a few days ahead of the family.
Okay.
And she was going to commune with nature and go on a spiritual journey of sorts. And at some point, she decided she was going to set up her hammock, and she bumped her head.
So Kumbaya was out the window at that point.
Yeah, right. Well, she might have been singing Kumbaya with the aliens in the spaceship. Nobody knows.
That's true.
Maybe Bigfoot and her had a big bonfire, and they were dancing naked. Well, as naked as Bigfoot can be.
Well, it almost sounds like maybe that she met Bigfoot online.
Well,
thought, hey, let's go have a quiet date out in the forest.
There was no mention of any of that, so we're just going off the facts. We don't really know.
I know. Nobody knows if Bigfoot's a real player. Who knows?
Exactly. Right. He could be monogamous for all we know.
Keep going.
Anyways, so she got a severe head wound while she was setting up her tent and became disoriented. And there were times when it first happened, she can recall this too. So I guess I misspoke earlier. She can recall that right after the wound to her head, she couldn't stand for very long without feeling like she was going to fall down.
Yeah, I get that with the head injury, sure.
And she felt nauseous.
So she felt a little disoriented.
All the concussion protocols that they do on the NFL players now.
That makes sense.
She marked all the boxes.
Okay.
So she's obviously dealing with a concussion of sorts.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where everything, that's the factuality of this event.
Okay.
So then there was some, I don't want to say speculation, but there's, during the investigation of this disappearance, and they put a lot of man hours into this. And that's one of the reasons why, they searched for 12 days. So you've got search and rescue teams, battle-hardened search and rescue teams, K9 teams, helicopters.
Yeah, the whole kit and caboodle.
You've got everybody combing this. Yep. There were, because of the terrain, there were some difficulties accessing certain areas of Zion. Because it's not a big flat piece of ground.
It's a national park with mountains and trees,
hills and valleys and dips and all that kind of stuff. But anyways,
country,
a search and rescue team can cover X amount of ground, and I don't know what their prescribed. I'm sure we could probably look it up online if anybody was really interested.
They did a standard...
send us an email and I'll look it up.
Yeah, but I'm sure they did a standard grid pattern.
Yeah, they did a standard grid search. They did the what some people call the spider web kind of search, where they use the string, so they don't recover. When they're looking for evidentiary
it's a form of grid pattern
things. Yeah, exactly. So they did that, and they're looking and they're looking and they're looking. Well, on the 12th day, a credible, they call this individual a credible source.
Okay.
Came forth to the search team with some information about the whereabouts of this missing woman.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is where everything kind of gets weird, and where law enforcement stops believing her story and all. Well, I don't want to say that.
They're questioning.
They're questioning the validity of certain things.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Because this woman was found 12 days after she went missing, within 100 yards of one of the most traveled trails in Zion National Forest.
And that area was part of the grid search,
that area was already searched.
Okay.
Multiple times. K9 and seasoned veteran search and rescue.
So now we're venturing into the area or the realm and the theory of these clusters of missing people.
The missing 411 folks.
In the national,
the missing 411 person, I should say.
And missing in those clusters in the national parks
and
forests.
Yeah, in the national parks and forests. Right. So you know, that's where, and there's some little bit more information. I'll mention the gentleman, the sergeant's name here in a minute, and all that. But see, that's where everything goes from. You know, a person's missing, could have been kidnapped, could have been, you know, fallen off a ravine.
Well, before we look at theories and options and ideas,
right?
There,
what do you have?
What was her complete physical when they found her? What did she, let's recap. What she found her? What type of injuries?
She had a
malnourishment, hypothermia. What exactly? How did they find her?
They didn't mention, or that I could find any account of. They didn't mention if her wound was dressed.
Okay.
The wound to her head.
But she still, even after 12 days, still had a very good sized knot and open wound.
For sure. I mean, especially if she didn't dress it or field dress it or anything like that. You know, she's probably got dried blood in her hair. She was malnourished, and I don't recall. I don't believe that she came out of the forest on her own. I'm sure they had to carry her out on a stretcher, and they probably did it for precautionary reasons, anyways.
Yeah.
Because you know she, I'm sure appeared malnourished, was probably relatively dirty, and all that kind of stuff. But she was still alive. That's the important takeaway.
That is the important thing
on that.
But see, what's interesting about this is too, with those clusters of missing people around the country,
right, in
the Forest Service and national parks, the difference with this one is they found Miss Holly.
Yes. Alive.
A lot of these other people have not been found.
They have not found.
So she was found alive within a short period of time frame.
Right, relatively. Yeah, 12 days is a long time when you're out there by yourself. Yeah. But
so based on what we know,
right,
and the story that we were provided and the explanation we were provided,
right. Mm-hmm.
Since this is what you and I do, here's your first answer. First question.
Okay, first question.
Question A. Do you believe her story? And you can pick an answer. It's not a yes or no answer necessarily. You can pick in there.
It'd be a short essay.
You can even say maybe.
Okay.
No, I don't do short essays. They're all long essays.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I'm going to answer in a short essay.
Ask my former students. They all know the essays were very long.
You guys don't have 3 hours to listen to me explain what I think. But anyway.
Yes, it is. But me giving you the questions and you trying to explain it, you get me all flustered.
So do I believe her?
You can use yes, no, or maybe.
Yes, no, or maybe. I believe. Can I clarify?
No. Yes, no, or maybe.
Maybe.
Now you can clarify.
Okay. So I do believe her account of what happened up to hitting her head.
Okay.
What I find hard to believe is that she was able to stay alive with a head wound that would cause you to lose your memory by herself in a wilderness without a first aid kit.
And she doesn't.
For 12 days.
Okay, but she doesn't remember how she survived either?
No.
Okay.
There's been, let's put it this way, one of the other problems, and I know we're stacking up problems, and we may not address them all in this particular episode, but one of the problems is that she's given different accounts to different people.
Gotcha.
What she gave to the lead investigator at the time she was found, information does not match what she told her sister.
So no two accounts match.
No two accounts match.
Stories. Explanation.
Yeah. There may be similarities, which is why I say maybe, because her account of everything prior to hitting her head seems to be the same.
Okay.
What happened after that changes. Okay. And that's where investigators are having trouble.
Okay.
You know, because what happened up to her family realizing that she was no longer, or I shouldn't say no longer there, wasn't where she was supposed to be.
Okay. So,
was up in the air.
I got you. Okay, good. So then my next question is this to piggyback off your answer you just gave.
Okay.
For this next question, is this a case of potentially mental health? That she had a mental health episode,
Okay.
and that's why she's not remembering?
Okay. Or
is this a case of an unknown disappearance? It's unknown, but I mean from a paranormal standpoint, whether it's UFO, Bigfoots, vortex, transdimensional gateway, something of that nature. Could it potentially be that?
Okay.
Which way are you leaning towards? If you had to pick off the top of your head, without going into great detail, what's the first out of those answers that I gave you, or possible explanations? What's jumping out at you?
Paranormal. Okay. Why? Can I say why?
Yeah, you can say why.
Okay. Good. Well, you let me say why last time. I figured we were going to have the same. We were going to have the same choices.
I didn't want to make
options.
you cry and tell you absolutely not. So okay. Go ahead.
I gotcha. All right. So why? Why do I think it was paranormal? Well, if you go by the strictest definition of the word paranormal, it's what's not normal. Did I think she was? Do I think she has some kind of a mental? Do I think she has had some kind of a mental relapse, or not relapse, but a episode or something like that? I don't think so, because she didn't have any prior issues that the family was aware of.
Sure.
Of any kind of mental problems.
Sure.
So, I mean, I realize mental problems can pop up, but...
Well, because I get what you're saying on that, but schizophrenia usually doesn't show up until for the very first episode or first signs of it until somebody's in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s.
Right. So you're right about that.
So
schizophrenia.
That's why I asked, could it potentially be that?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, the paranormal side.
I don't think so, given her age. Because like you said, a schizophrenic episode usually happens 20 to 30. This woman's 36, no prior history of mental health. So that's why I think it's paranormal in the purest form of paranormal, in being that we can't explain what happened.
It's an unknown.
It's an unknown. Unfortunately, there's only one person on this planet or in any known part of the universe that knows what happened to her, and she can't recall exactly what happened to her.
If that's true, or she's unwilling to recall.
Well, that's possible too.
So
I mean, from an investigative standpoint, and that's why I believe the investigators are they're kind of at a deadlock, so to speak, as to exactly what happened. I mean, it is a criminal investigation that they're conducting right now.
Well, of course, it always is. Yes.
Yeah, there was a missing person, and now that person's not missing,
and it's been elevated.
And we want to know why. Yeah. Well, they have to justify the spending of all the man hours for search and rescue.
So I lean toward towards mental health, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
And here's the reason why.
All right.
One, she shows back up 12 days later.
Okay. Well, she didn't really show up. She was found 12 days later.
Show up, same. Okay. For me, it's tomatoes.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying.
Sure.
There. Now, let's review what happened to her prior. Lost her job.
Yes.
Which is stressful.
Okay.
Which is
very
devastating.
Stressful. Yes.
We're dealing with a pandemic. You know where I stand on that, but we'll call it a pandemic.
The fake virus.
Dealing with that. You're dealing with ridiculous requirements, mandates, mask wearing, you can't go out, you gotta stay home, you gotta do A, B, and C. She's going to a family event,
which is very
stressful alone. So you have multiple stress related things taking place. You have her going to go spiritually cleanse, which I do, you do, you know, a whole bunch of people do, and that alone right there doesn't mean anything. However, she obviously was feeling the stress and that she needed to do this. But what really pushes it for me towards a mental health related issue is lack of water, lack of planning, lack of food. That almost tells me, and she went several days prior to the rest of the family getting there. That would lead me to start investigating it from, were we trying to commit suicide?
Yeah.
I'm not saying she was,
I got you.
but that's what I mean by this leads me
There's
towards
some markers
this
there.
has more of a mental health feel to it than anything, just because of what took place prior over the last 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And what she, when getting there, and then some of her actions and disappearing and now not being able to explain anything. And it very well could be exactly what she said the first story. Right. She went hiking, got lost, she hit her head when she was trying to set up her hammock, her tent, whatever it was.
Hammock. It was a hammock.
So that very well could be, and I can see that she could survive based on berries and leaves and stuff foraging that she found out there, foraging in the forest and the granola bar. And if she's by a creek and there's water in Zion National Park, so she's drinking water. So I can see how she may not necessarily remember that. Yeah. But unfortunately or fortunately, how you look at it, for me, it's more, I'd be definitely, as the investigator, looking at more of a mental health related issue. Sure. Just again, prior to what took place. Yeah. And for me, I see signs of somebody very unhappy, maybe even depressed.
Could have been some depression elements in there. Sure.
I really think they have to look at the possibility that she possibly was trying to commit suicide and then just couldn't forward through it because she had a huge injury to her head. We can tell a story that she
failed attempt or something.
But exactly. So for me as an investigator, that's one avenue I would definitely not leave open. Right. I would look at it till the very end to be able to close it off and say, nope, this wasn't it. From the paranormal standpoint, it very well could be, and yes, it is unexplained. I just don't see enough evidence pointing out to match it to the cluster of missing individuals in the state parks and the national parks, and the forest, just because of what had the situations that had taken place prior. I don't see enough evidence to, at least for me, I would still look into it as an investigator, and explore that option, but. I just don't see, the circumstances to me are completely different than those people that just vanished in the national parks.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way too. I'm going to throw this out there just as as a side.
I'll duck when I need to.
It's my opinion. There's no. It's not based on any kind of evidentiary, that I have or anything like that. But every cluster starts with one.
True.
How do we know this isn't going to be the beginning of another cluster in that particular area?
And who's to say that she isn't in the middle of a cluster? Again, I haven't looked at the clusters for in the area of Zion National Park. Yeah. It's a real possibility. Yeah. I'm just saying that from my standpoint, from what I'm seeing and the evidence being presented, that's why I'm leaning towards a mental health. So
my personal investigation led me down a little bit different path as well too, because there were a lot of questions about water. Okay, so survival training courses tell you that you can survive for X amount of time without sleep.
Yes.
Okay, you may not be happy, but you can go without sleep.
Am I happy when I don't get sleep? I don't think so.
You can go for a certain amount of time without food. And there's a rule. I think it's like 3, and 3. You can survive 3 weeks without sleep. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can survive 3 weeks without sleep. You can survive 3 periods of time without food. But you're only like 3 days without water.
Yeah, water. Okay. You can survive a long time without food as long as you have water.
It's Zion National Park, right? They got streams and rivers.
Oh
and waterfalls and all kind of. Well, guess what? Not in that particular area. It's not drinkable.
True. She's gone for 12 days.
Right. There was a toxic algal bloom detected in the North Fork of the Virginia River, which is right where she disappeared. Yeah. So there's a known toxic element in that water. And her daughter was the first one to come forward and tell investigators that her being an experienced outdoors person,
she would have known.
She would have known.
Okay.
So she wasn't going to take the chance because this particular, and I looked it up, it's a cyanobacteria.
Okay.
Which was what was in bloom in that part of the river, is a microscopic organism that lives primarily in fresh water and salt water at or below the surface of the water.
Gotcha.
Okay, and the by ingesting it, you're going to have gastrointestinal distress, and that includes nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and a mild liver enzyme elevation, which would give you a whole array of
sounds
other
like Montezuma's Revenge.
Yeah, it does, and it usually will pop up within 3 to 5 hours of drinking the water, and those symptoms will last 1 to 2 days.
Okay.
At each occurrence. So, did she have access to water? No. So how did she survive for 12 days?
Yeah.
Especially if she was in some kind of a heightened mental state, or not heightened mental state, but in some kind of an adverse mental state.
Sure.
I mean, it just and the Sergeant Daryl Cashin from the Washington County Sheriff's Department, he's also the liaison, media liaison for the search and rescue team in Washington County. So he's having a lot of the same hang-ups that we have. The discrepancies in the story is the big one, because like I said, she's been interviewed by probably countless at this point. Yeah. Because now we're almost a month away from this occurrence. So I think she was found on the 20th of October or something like that. So here we are, at least a few weeks, a couple of weeks, away. And she's spoken with several investigators. And given different accounts, and then the investigators have spoke with family members who has reported that she's given them different accounts. Yeah, so we can beat that dead horse all day long. We could. There's discrepancies in the story. Well, does that speak to the mental state? Sure. It would be, if I went missing in a national park for 12 days and I came out 12 days later and I couldn't remember what happened after I bumped my head, I'm probably going to give different stories too. I mean, I think we all were. But why?
Oh, are you kidding? I'm going to lead you. You don't remember anything? I'm going to lead you what kind of story you didn't. Right. You're going to be like, I did what? I'm going to make that up.
Before you're done, I'm going to be the one that started World War II, and I wasn't even alive in World War II.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have you visiting places that you weren't even. No, I'm just messing.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's great is that this is definitely a story that we'll continue to follow.
Yes.
They've been pretty tight-lipped. Other than the initial stuff that's come
given out a little bit.
They found her, that there's not much coming out right now. So
now the big thing is they're looking at the financial gain part of it. Exactly. Because there's been a GoFundMe site set up for her to, because apparently they probably slapped her with a pretty good sized bill for the search and rescue part of it. So
they may have.
The part that I find kind of odd about that whole part of it from the law enforcement standpoint is that the same sheriff that is finding all these discrepancies in the woman's story doesn't believe that she's doing this for financial gain. But
that doesn't mean anything, though.
But
believing and being able to prove is two different things.
That's always two different things. So, but I mean, given the current climate, all those things that you have laid out, and you need money.
Exactly.
Mama needs money.
Well, I mean, look how many scams are out there that couple that helped this homeless guy spent all that money to get him, when in fact it was a scam to get more money off of GoFundMe. Right. And, they all got found out. So you're right, this definitely could be.
Wasn't there a few years ago, wasn't there somebody that was trying to get people to give him money because his children were kidnapped and in a hot air balloon or something?
Oh, yeah, Colorado. Yeah, Balloon Boy.
Yeah, Balloon Boy. Right. So
same deal.
People are trying to get money. That was during the housing crash of the 2008
Something
6 to 8 era.
Yeah, during that recession,
and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, do you blame the girl? No. Did she do it the wrong way? Well,
why we lying, cheating, stealing?
Well, that's true.
Crap happens. We're all dealing with it. Right. And we do what we got to do to get situated, but when you're defrauding people and lying about things, it's a whole different thing. Now, we're not saying that this is the case.
Yeah, we're not.
This is speculation.
We're not judge, jury,
this is
and
worst case scenario, possibly.
Right.
Well, just unfortunately, it does happen. So.
We are going to stay on top of this story, though. I have actually set up news alerts a couple of days ago on it, so anytime her name pops up in the news, I'm going to get a little email about it and all that. So
don't worry, we will definitely, when we have an update, we will let all of you know.
That's right.
So, sir,
keep you in the loop. Yes.
Great conversation, great story to share with everybody on the season 2, episode 1.
Episode 1.
What the Buddy and Crease? But I got to tell you, I still feel like somebody's watching and listening.
I know,
to
it's
us.
weird. It's eerie, yeah. I almost
you know
like
what? We're gonna need to do an investigation because I bet you we're able to solve this.
We might get some EVPs out of this room. Maybe.
So everybody knows, if we solve as to what we feel is going on and who's watching or listening, what's watching and listening, and don't worry, we're gonna bring that investigation to you.
Oh yeah.
So. All right, sir.
Here first.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know how to get a hold of us at WTB&K at all your favorite platforms on the social media. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Let us know. Otherwise, welcome to season 2. And, sir, I'll get you next time.
I'll see you later.